Hi, everyone. Welcome back to The Rich Nonprofit. I'm Lisa Avila, business strategist, helping women start and scale their nonprofits. And I'm so excited because it is 2026 and I have something exciting for you. You are getting a front row seat to see what it looks like to launch a nonprofit. And I have Gabs Hayes here, and we are going to talk nonprofit in real time, the strategy, the decisions, the pivots. So thank you for being here with me, Gabs.
Oh, I'm so excited. There is no one else in the world that I would rather make this decision with. And so I'm really, really excited we're getting to do this together.
Yes. Okay, I want to jump in. We are going behind the scenes, and I want to know what brought you here. What was happening in your life that made you realize that you wanted to start a nonprofit?
Wow. I think this is such a good question, and one that I think you can get lost in and always trying to find the right answer. And so I don't know if what I'm going to give you is the right answer, but it's mine and it's the truth. So we're going to roll with it. I have been an entrepreneur for the last 6-7 years at this point. I've run several different small businesses, and something always felt off to me about the work that I was doing and the impact I was able to make. And I just didn't have exposure to nonprofits at that stage of the game to understand what they really meant and how it really meant to give back to the community. Obviously I had a fundamental understanding, but not a direct exposure to it. And the more and more I started to grow my business, it always felt misaligned to be chasing revenue targets all the time, and that being like the goal that we were going after. And I remember with my first consulting business, right away, I put together this like fund to the side, a scholarship fund, where I would pay for other women to go through and get the consulting and coaching that they needed in their career. And as I look back, this has just kind of been a thing, is that while I'm extremely great at business, I'm a change management and project management professional by trade, I always wanted to be doing more. I wanted to be giving back more. And I hit a stage in my life where I can build from the ground up without the pressure to make a dollar. And that is a huge difference in the way that you show up in a business and the way that you make strategic decisions. And so I just decided, with your support and knowing that I'd have some strategy along the way, this was probably going to be the greatest time that I could just go all in and give it a shot. And so I'm excited to share what we're going to be doing and how we're going to get there. But really, I think it was just taking a moment in my life when I felt like now's the time.
Yes. And I love that you didn't put it off, because you have plenty going on. You are a mom, you are a wife, right? You're working full time. Like, there's so much. So you could say, oh, maybe in 5 years, maybe in 10 years, but you have that heart, because I know you, that you want to help people. And so by starting now, you're only going to impact more people down the road. And starting right now, you're already impacting people and changing their lives. So thank you for starting now, instead of saying, oh, I'll just push it down, kick the can down the road a little bit longer.
Yeah. And I think that opens the door too, Lisa. Like, there's this moment, right? And I think whether it's a nonprofit, a business, having another child, changing careers, moving to another state, whatever it is, right? We get to these points where, like, well, I'll make a decision when I have enough input. I'll make a decision when I have enough resources. I'll make a decision when I have enough time. And the reality is you're never going to have enough of any of it. So you know what? I'm going to do it messy. I'm going to do it real. I'm going to do it honest. But that's a huge value and a huge part of our mission anyway. And so, yeah, I think there is no better time than the present. And it just means I might grow smaller or slower to start with. But I'm going to do it with intention. And that is what's most important.
Yes. Yes. I love this. So then, because I want to get into what you are starting, but I also want to know, why did you come to me for the help? Because you could have done the Google searches, and we all do that, right? When we're kind of thinking about things of like, well, let me just look on Google. Let me see what I can do here and there. But what made you say, no, I'm going to be intentional and get the help I need to be able to do this the way I want to do it?
Yeah. One, I emphatically trust you. So there's that. But, I think the other part of it is is my first few rounds in business, I did them alone. I did them the Google search way. I did them going to an accelerator. I did them in many ways the hard way, I think, if you were to classify it that way. And this time around, I wanted this to be fun. And of course, there will be hard days, there will be challenging days, but I really wanted it to be built from a place of fun and from a place of focus. I think that that's the biggest thing that I know I need help with. I got a gazillion and a half ideas for what I want to do. And I want to touch millions of people, but I can't do that day one out of the gate. And I need someone who has been in this game, who understands what it takes to be successful in the nonprofit world. And to me, success means how many people can we reach? And I need someone who can help keep me focused, because all of the ideas that we have for the nonprofit can come to life, but there's a sequential order in which they need to happen. And I need someone to slap me on the hand when I'm leaving that order.
Thank you for realizing this. I do that pretty well, but I hold space for my clients, right? Because I love you all dearly. And also, you have such big souls, such big ideas, you're creative, and that means that sometimes there are all these ideas coming at you and you don't know which one to pick up first. And so I love to put it into a plan of like, nope, not this year, not this month, like calm down, we will get it. Calm down. I hate when people tell me that, but it's like, we will get there. We will impact more lives. But you're right. It's hard to do it alone. And what I appreciate the most is that you said fun, because if it's not fun and you don't find joy in it, then what's the point of doing it? You will get burned out and not want to continue. So fun and focus. Those are great. Okay. So do tell, what is this nonprofit? It's like, I feel like there should be like music.
Wow. We need a drum roll. Yeah,
tell us everything.
Tell you everything. So everything is that Lisa's still helping me figure it out. So that's the reality of today's moment. But the nonprofit is called Overwhelmed and Over It. And it is specifically a space created for families who are looking to be connected again, to live a wealthier life, not just in financial terms, but in terms of memories, in terms of connection, in terms of laughter, in terms of having fun together again, and getting out of the monotony of like what it takes day to day to raise a family in today's world. And so the very first thing that we're focusing on is what we're calling core memory days, where you as a family just get to show up and make memories. That's it. I don't want you worried about how you're going to feed these kids, if they're going to behave themselves when they come out in public, if you have the capacity as a mom or a dad to navigate taking them out. I just want you to show up and have core memories. And we are specifically launching this in the end of April because part of the reason this nonprofit started is 7 years ago. I lost my youngest son, and the end of April is his birthday. So we're going to launch Core Memory Days as our annual give back event where families get to come together, because his passing was a huge wake up for our family, that we were just going through the motions and we weren't actually living together and being present with one another. And so that completely changed the trajectory of our family. And I feel like it's my duty to help others figure out how to do that as well.
Beautiful. Such a great way to give back, and for your kids to see this as well, because you're a mom, you're busy. You could just, like you said, go through the motions, get through the day, take them to where they need to be, and then the years go by. And instead, you're modeling for them what family life and love and joy looks like.
Yeah, and it's fascinating too, because we have relaunched our podcast also to help support this mission. Podcast is called Overwhelmed and Over It. And my kids are now co-hosts on the show. And they are answering questions about family life too. Questions that are either coming from kids or questions that are coming from parents who wish they knew what a teenager was thinking or what a 5-year-old is thinking. And it's been really fascinating and such a reward to see them quantify in their own words what quality family time means or what a quality family life means. And I'll just give you guys, one sneak preview that I think is really important for everyone to walk away from this episode with, which is, it is not the quantity of time that you spend with your kids. It is the quality of time. On 3 separate occasions, all 3 of my living children have said something to the effect of, it's not about how much time you spend with us, because you and dad are busy and you and dad are doing your own goals, but when we're together, we're together. And that is something that they all have independently called out. And I think when we really think about the pressure that's been put on us in today's world, we think we have to be with our kids 24/7. We have to be around them. We always have to be available. And that's when we hit that burnout and that exhaustion where we're just going through the motions.
Whew, I'm getting a little teary because I don't drive my kids anymore. They all have their licenses. But it was those quick moments, the 1,000 little moments where we would have that quality time together. And they would tell me things. And they're boys, so they didn't necessarily want to talk to their mom. But looking back on that, those were the moments where I felt so close to them and I was available to them, right? We're in the car. They can't get away from me, but 100% of just listening and being there for them. And those moments, they really do shape them and they shape us as mothers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And I think, we get so caught up in what has to get done, what's on the to-do list, what we need to get finished, what it's going to take to get them to school tomorrow and to make sure they have a lunch and my kids wear uniforms. Do they have clean, uniforms to wear, like those kind of things. But also it's those small, tiny moments where we learn who they are as individuals. But yeah, I think that getting to know them as individual people is so important too. I think a lot of times we've taken our role as a parent is to make them happy, is to make them feel loved, to make them feel supported. And I think all of that's very true. But we also need to know what their weaknesses are, to challenge them, to teach them tools to grow, to teach them how to heal. And if all of our time and attention is devoted to them 1,000% and they don't ever have to problem solve, they don't ever have to figure out hard things, we don't ever hear those things from them in those, like you said, those little tiny moments that we think are inconsequential or insignificant in like the big grand scheme of things of life. But it's those little ones that add up that allow you to really know who each other are as people and build the family life that you're really wanting to build.
Yes, and each family member is so different, right? They have their unique qualities, abilities, and that's been fun having that time to discover that in each of my kids anyway. They are so different. And also being in community like you are creating, how fun for them to be able to meet other people and to explore that and be in a safe space.
One quick thing before we keep going. You didn't build your business just to make money. So let's talk about what comes next. The impact, the legacy, the way you want to show up publicly around the cause you care about. On April 29th in downtown San Luis Obispo in California, I'm hosting my Audacious Purpose event. One day in person with other female entrepreneurs to map how to build impact into your business, whether that's launching your nonprofit or foundation, creating a giving strategy, or figuring out what you want to be known for beyond just your revenue. I'm keeping it intimate so that we can do the big vision work. The link is in the show notes. I'm super excited. I hope you'll join us. All right, now back to the show.
Peace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's fascinating, right? Because I'm coming to this with a business and entrepreneurial background. So I naturally go to, okay, what's our branding? What's our marketing? What's our outreach, right? Like I go through all of those things in my head, and I feel very fortunate that I have that background. But when you're talking about the success of your nonprofit is the amount of impact you make, it's really hard to start to narrow that down. It's really hard to say, I don't want to just talk to everybody and help everyone, because the truth is I would if I could, right? But I agree with you in that it's very important to me, especially as we're building the in-person events, that the families who are showing up there are showing up for the same reason that you as a family are showing up. you all are working on becoming better people, experiencing a wealthier life, really figuring out what you want your life to be instead of just walking through the motions. And that means that the spaces we're creating are not for everyone. And that's been a hard thing for me to accept, but that is the reality. But on the flip side of that, what I know to be true is that when we get that messaging and that branding so dialed in, the people who desperately need that space will walk in without any hesitation because they know it was designed for them.
Yes. And people like us, we want to change the world. We want to help everyone. And maybe someday we will, but it starts with helping one person, one community. And I'm constantly telling my clients that of like, nope. Okay, one of my P's is we're picking the people. So like you said, you're going to narrow it down. And it's not ideal client. I mean, you can use that term if you want when it comes to a nonprofit, but who you are serving. Mm-hmm. And then take it from there because it will expand. Of course, because these families are coming to you and then they go out into the world and they create the more impact and change.
Yeah. Oh, I can feel it. I can sense it. I'm so excited.
I love this work so much, as you know, and as you know, because it is starting a nonprofit is being an entrepreneur. You have no control over a lot of things, but you do have a vision, you do have a mission, and you're going to go after it. And 2026 is going to be so amazing for you because your light is only going to get brighter as you help more people. And we're going to have ups and downs, right? I mean, we're going to take this, we're going to do this monthly. We're going to talk about what's going well, what's not. Maybe there's some pivots, especially after your first event. That will be fun to kind of go through of like, well, how did it go? And there's always something with events. But I just think it's going to be so magical to go along this ride with you. I'm honored to be here and to see how you do this because I know you and I know in a few years, it's just going to be like, whew, who knows? Who knows how many people you're helping?
Oh, well, I'm excited that we're able to do this, and thank you for being willing to walk this journey with me. I genuinely hope that giving a behind-the-scenes look helps other women think that this is possible for them. That they don't have to be the Red Crosses of America changing the world by billions of dollars a year. It can be one little room, one small community that they start with, and know that they have support to do it. But I am an open book. And so, yeah, we'll be talking about the stuff that fails. We'll be talking about every time, last month when I kept saying, I'm not sure if now's the time, magically Lisa would text me something not even about this. And I'm like, okay, universe, I hear you. You're giving me little shoves. I want to be open and I want to be able to talk about those things because I do genuinely think it honors and celebrates the work that you do. And I also think that it helps people understand the real heart behind nonprofits. I think there are a lot of people who have used them in the wrong way, which is one of my biggest hesitations and one of my biggest pauses to doing this. And another reason why I wanted to work with you, because I don't want to screw this up. I don't want to accidentally do something that harms others or isn't, the right way to approach it. And we all need that guidance and that mentorship in that process. And so I'm glad that we're able to do this publicly and share this mission as we go along, so that people can really decide if it's for them. And if so, how do they join us?
Yes. And just real quickly, so most of the people who listen to my podcast, they're women. And they are successful. Some of them are business owners. Some of them are thinking of starting a nonprofit. Some of them just want to create more impact. They're not sure what that looks like because you're going through the days and doing the things you need to do, but there's this calling inside of you that wants to do more. And as we are both mothers, and I have a lot of mother listeners, what advice would you give them? Because you're saying, I'm a mother, I'm all these things, but I'm also going to go do this. So I don't know, was there a moment or do you have advice of like, why now?
I'll be honest. I took about 6 months off of any sort of creation to just be present, to just deal with what was right in front of me. And I think that was part of it, is I had enough space and pause to be able to refill my tank to come back to be able to do this. I also think one of the greatest things that clued me in that it was time to do this was I had always looked at business as like, what could I do? What was I capable of doing? What was my skill set? What was my exposure? What was my reach? And this time around, I was very clear that like, I don't even want my name in Overwhelmed and Over It. I don't want my name in the brand or the nonprofit name, because I want this to grow beyond me. I see myself as setting up the foundation, but not being the person to take it long term to where it's going to go. And so I think if you're in this stage where you're trying to figure out, I want to make an impact, but I don't know where, how, or why, spend some time with that, because you can make a massive impact for a nonprofit that's already existing and fill your cup in that way. The only reason I'm doing my own is because there isn't one like what I'm building out there. So I felt called to be the person to create it. But I also know like we're going to partner with a lot of people along the way, because I'd be crazy to think I'm the only person who can do this or who should be doing this. And so if you are hesitant and maybe even haven't been down this road of launching something before, one, talk to Lisa. She'll tell you like, yes, you're ready. No, you're not. Here's what to focus on first. Because you did that with me several months ago when I first had this idea. You were like, these are the things you need to kind of have in order before you get started. And so I had spent some time with that before we re-engaged and got this work going. But also like, is there another nonprofit near you or around you that you are passionate about that you can spend some time in and figure out, does that fill your cup first? Or does that fuel you to want to do more? And that was part of the thing I did in that 6 months too, is I really got involved in a nonprofit that my middle daughter goes to. And once I got more involved with their mission and their work, it fueled me to want to go do my own instead of filled my cup to just be there. And I think you have to be ready to be real with yourself around which one fuels you the most.
Yeah. And either works. If you know that you want to create impact, like you said, just start, go, volunteer, look and see what's going to work best for you and for your family. And yes, what you are creating, I have not seen out there. And so when we talked months ago about your idea, I was like, oh, heck yes. Because it's so needed and it's going to help so many families. And the family unit is just, it's so important because we are raising the next generation, which is, that's daunting, but not if you have community and a safe place and you can find people who want to raise their children that way as well. It's so beautiful and it's innovative and we need that.
Yeah. And, I think you can spend 5 minutes on Reddit, right, on any parenting thread, and you can just see the reality of being a family and being a parent in today's modern world. It's harder than it's ever been. It's heavier than it has ever been, even though we have more resources, more access, more all of the things. And I genuinely believe in the ripple effect. And I believe that by me being selfish, and I'll put that in quotations for those who aren't watching the video, me being selfish enough to prioritize what makes me the best person, what makes me the best mom, then makes my kids the best versions of themselves. And then they have the tools to go to school and do the same thing with their friends and with their peers. And then those kids go home and take that to their parents. And then those parents take it to work, right? And so, it can be so hard to look at all of the impact you want to make and then be overwhelmed by, how am I going to reach 100 people? How am I going to reach 1,000 people? How am I going to reach 1 million people? But when you start thinking about that ripple effect of a family is this core nuclear being in society that's touching every version of society. If we start there, we start the ripple that changes this world that we live in and that gives us the permission and the right to form our world to be the way we want it to be.
So refreshing. We definitely need that. Thank you. I cannot wait. This is going to be so fun. Thank you for being here, Gabs. What is the best way for people to find you?
Right now, it's going to be the podcast. So Overwhelmed and Over It, we're on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And that's where we'll keep you in the loop as everything's getting up and getting running. As of Lisa and I recording this, I don't even have the website up yet because this is all literally brand spanking new. So when we told you we're building it live, we're building it live. And so, yeah, if you keep up with the podcast, we'll be able to update you as we get the website up, as you can get on the mailing list so you know as events are coming out and as they start to happen in cities near you.
Wonderful. Thank you for being with me, and we will see you all next month on The Rich Nonprofit. Bye.